Welcome to another edition of the Gulo. And now, here are the Larrabee boys, Zack and Kyle.
Well, welcome to another edition of the Gulo here, the Veterans Day edition. Again, we have my brother Kyle, one of our hosts, along with myself, Zack Larrabee. And man, happy Veterans Day to you, Kyle.
Thank you, buddy. Happy Veterans Day to you too, my friend.
Yeah, appreciate it, brother.
My brother.
Yeah, man, my brethren. Kyle and I both served in Kyle and I both served in the U.S. military, along with my other brother Mike and a lot of our friends. And man, just super thankful. I know Kyle served in the Marine Corps for a season. I served in the Army for a season. Tom, we both have our memorabilia, or more so some of our knickknacks and stuff. Kyle's got his USMC plaque behind him, his visor, and his Marine Corps cap. I don't know what you guys call those. Your caps or whatever your dress blue caps. What do you guys call those?
Yep. This is dress blue cap.
Dress blue cap. Yep. Got my U.S. Army flag in the background. I switched it up from the Go Blue one. I have my 10th Mountain Division hat and sweatshirt on. And again, to all you servicemen and women out there, past, present, and future, we just thank you for the ability that we get to have the freedom that we have. And so continue to fight the good fight here. And speaking of fighting the good fight, Michigan football, we are still trying to continue to fight the good fight. And it's just been super awful. I mean, the only reason why I'm kind of happy right now is because Kyle has the Michigan-Wisconsin game from 2018 on in the background. And that was a great memory. So that was my second Michigan game I've ever been to. The first one I was super young. Remember bits and parts of it. This is Kyle's first game. We went there with our wives and got to experience the whole college game day. It was cold outside, and man, what a great experience. I don't think it could. I think the only way that day could be topped if we relive that day and we played Ohio State and we beat Ohio State. I think that's the only way. That day was amazing. Kyle, what was your favorite moment from that Michigan-Wisconsin game?
I think my favorite moment, and I put this on Twitter a lot. I'll probably actually put it on tonight after we get off of the show, just because it just reminded me of it. My favorite moment, play game wise, was Shea Patterson running that like 40, 50 yard carry down the sideline, and then us turning around and scoring a touchdown, and just pretty much trolling Wisconsin with the jump around song. And me and you just looking at each other going, ah! And I had my Michigan helmet on.
Yeah.
We're just jumping around, dude. I mean, just getting it. I looked at these guys on my left. I don't even know who they are, but we're high-fiving, and you're packed in there like sardines. So that was my favorite moment. The second favorite moment, though, is at the end of the game when we're all singing Sweet Caroline, and we're holding each other. And we're all just, Sweet Caroline. Everybody's got the lights and the flashlights on, and just so many different times throughout the game that I was just like, wow, in awe because of how big the big house is and how loud it is, and just the chant, the go blue, go blue, and
it's beautiful, man. It's definitely something that I encourage everybody to go and witness, even if you're not a Michigan fan. Like if you have a chance to go up to Ann Arbor for a football game, especially at nighttime, it is just a very unique, very awesome environment, and so historical the whole day. Everything was great. I remember when Shea Patterson busted that 50-yard run. It was actually coming towards our end zone. We were sitting right down by the field, and we were in the corner, so we had a good view of it all. And then we scored on that drive, and dude, that was just, man, it erupted. Like it was a lot of fun. And so we hope to get back there. We hope to get back there again. Yeah, go ahead.
Remember we watched that? We were at Subway eating. We look out. We're right down the road from the Schembechler Hall, and we look out down the road from Subway. We see all the frat parties.
Yeah.
And the Michigan fans are out there playing beer pong and everything and partying. And then the Wisconsin group comes through, and they And immediately looked at each other. I looked at Tim and said, "This is not going to be good. You got this little small group of Wisconsin fans walking by the sidewalk, and all these Michigan fans, all these Michigan students come out of the frat house, and they're all like bucking up to them." I was like, "Oh my gosh, we're about to see a full-on fight." And I think
then they kind of hugged it out at the end, shook hands, and it was kind of funny to see. It was like a fun little altercation, I guess, but
it was crazy.
Really beautiful sight, man. Ann Arbor downtown, just it is just a awesome college town, and just the scenery. That the falls were in peak season. I mean, the leaves were in fall peak season, and it was just beautiful, man. So
I will say this too: Wisconsin brings a crowd.
They do. They brought. Yeah, I remember a guy with I think his shirt was off. He had long hair, just looked like a Viking, and he was sitting there, and he was just there with a big old sign, big old flag. I was laughing, but we're getting ready to play Wisconsin here again this Saturday, the COVID edition. Wisconsin hasn't played since week 1 when they throttled Illinois. We don't really know kind of still who they are. We know who we are. We're not very good right now. And but before we get into Wisconsin, I kind of want to recap Indiana a little bit and just kind of talk through that. Here we go again. We lose to Michigan State, a very bad game. We're not feeling good. I think I went down with the ship after Michigan State, and I know some others were still kind of hanging on. And after this Indiana game, I think your moment that you had after Indiana was the moment I had after Michigan State. So I was kind of already over it. And when we lost to when we lost to Indiana, it was just kind of like, oh, whatever. I expected it to happen. I think I predicted we were going to lose 38-28 or 34-24, and we ended up losing 38-21. So it's kind of in that vicinity. But I know for you, I think you had that moment this past week where it was like, oh, crap, we are at rock bottom. And so, gosh, it just from everywhere. Our offensive line, again, just could not sustain a block. We could not get consistent push. Our running backs did not have a good rotation. We had 6 running backs coming in and out, and it was just awful. Our receivers were kind of getting separation, then Joe Milton would overthrow them, and then he would throw a really tight spiral, and they would drop it. Our defensive backs, Don Brown tries to switch them to zone, but obviously you can tell they haven't practiced zone because they've been doing man-to-man, so it's just a debacle on defense again. They continue to destroy us. It was, again, just a big mess, man. And so I want to get your thoughts when you're thinking back through this Indiana game. What did you see? I know we're a couple days separated from the reactionary things, but what did you see from that game that proves to you that, man, we're just at the bottom of the ocean right now?
Well, look, you said it perfectly. Penalties, sloppy execution, the play calling, slow start. It's going to be hard to bounce back from this game. It really is. From this and the Michigan State, it's going to be very hard to bounce back from. And this is a full-on debacle. And major changes down the road are going to have to be needed. And we'll talk more about that as we get into the show. But yeah, sky's falling in Ann Arbor. Things are happening, and us fans are not happy. Coaches are also not happy. Players, we know they're not happy as well. But yeah, what I seen on Saturday, let's say the beginning first half, I was pretty good on Twitter. I was calling out the plays. I was professional. Everything was kind of going good. But as we got closer to the half, my tweets just got like more angry.
What was funny about that is I was watching the game. I didn't watch the whole game, but when I did watch it, I was with my father-in-law, and he was on Twitter, and he said, "Oh no," he said, "Kyle's already on." He said, "Kyle's already on Twitter, man." He was like, "I thought he was going to save his ammo for the Gulo." I was like, "Nope, he's starting to get it out right now." He said, "Yeah, he's on." He said he is on fire on Twitter.
I was on fire, Bo. Like I'm usually a lot more optimistic on. I try to be as optimistic as I can, positive. That's what you try to be. We're all Michigan fans. It's great to be a Wolverine for the most part. There's a lot with Michigan that I love, but man, it hit a nerve out of nowhere, and all of a sudden it just hit me. Like by halftime, I was tweeting probably every 20 seconds, and it was not good. It was. fire Harbaugh train all the way down to what the heck did these players show up with a Tempur-Pedic mattress in the locker room? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. And
just took a quick nap, and even though the sky seems to be falling in Ann Arbor for the football program, there's also some positives we can look at. And I know the basketball program is really, it's like they swap places. The basketball program is really actually has a lot of excitement in the future. And even our hometown football team, Oakridge, that they just won their second playoff game. They're going to their third playoff game this week. And if they win it, they go to regional. So even though the sky is falling on the football program in Ann Arbor, there's still some exciting things happening in our hometown and for the basketball program. Kyle, what excites you? What uplifts your spirits when you think about what's happening with the basketball program, and even kind of what brings back some memories for Oakridge football? What are some things that get you excited?
Well, I mean, Michigan basketball has been kind of the relief factor so far this Michigan season. And the worse that Michigan football gets, the more I get sucked into the Michigan basketball and the Juwan Howard fire train right now. He's just on fire all the way, and Harbaugh's on the end of that fire train. But I mean, it's exciting to be a Michigan basketball fan right now, and you got 2 5-star recruits snagged in. You got the overall #1 recruiting class, and he keeps reeling them in. You have 6 commitments. I think another guy just committed. I've seen on Twitter. I mean, ultimately, Juwan Howard is just on fire. He's doing amazing. And then, I mean, that's with basketball. And Oakridge football, I really wanted to bring this up because I'm excited, man. That's our alma mater, high school alma mater.
That's right.
Oakridge. Shout out.
Shout out to our alma mater, Oakridge, man. Oakridge is like, we get the same feeling to do with Michigan football, not just because it's our alma mater in high school, but legendary coach. We brought him up, I think, in the first or second episode, Jack Sugars. He's like our Bo Schembechler. He built that program in the late 60s to early 70s, and he head coached all the way through 2011, my junior year. And he just posted. I mean, he actually got inducted into the Michigan high school football Hall of Fame for coaches. And he has talked about as one of the best coaches in all of Michigan high school football. We won 3 state championships. You might got to be a part of those. I unfortunately was not. We lost in the playoffs, but we won a conference championship. We won many conference championships. We've been to so many different state championship games where we could have won. And for being a small school, a school of choice or not a school of choice, to where you can only go to Oakridge if you live inside those small town limits. So to be able to do what we do as a high school football program with the restrictions and stuff, man, it's amazing. And so I love Oakridge football, and they're playing in their third playoff game. The district finals is Friday. That's pretty exciting.
So with the COVID rules, and I was talking to Corey Phelps earlier. He was our quarterback.
Shout out to Corey Phelps.
Shout out to Corey Phelps. We should have him on the show here in a couple weeks. So I'm trying to secure that right now. We're going to try to get – so Corey Phelps, he was a really good quarterback for Oakridge, a gunner. Our senior year, we went undefeated during the regular season and made it all the way to our third playoff game.
Regionals, yeah.
Regionals. And I mean, we had a heck of a varsity. I mean, our entire varsity career. It was our 2 years in varsity. When I got moved up playoffs, my sophomore year, they went. The seniors and juniors took us to state. They went and won that. But Corey Phelps. Anyway, so back to Corey Phelps. I was talking to him on the phone, and he's like, "Look, dude, COVID. They got the extra playoff game. They're not going to actually play the finals until after the Thanksgiving into December.
Mm-hmm.
So they have 2 pre-districts, and then they have a district, and then they go to regional, semifinals, and then finals. So, but Oakridge, man, they've been rolling. I watched them live last week. I didn't know if Corey Phelps was there. I guess, because obviously he lives right down the road, but Yeah, they spanked Big Rapids pretty good, especially in the second half. They seem to do. Vanderput's awesome, great running back, by the way. If you can, go vote for him for Player of the Week, I think.
That's right.
But yeah, we beat Big Rapids pretty good. It was 41-20, and then we beat Chippewa Hills before that, 40-6. So, Oakridge has had semi-decent year with the overall record. It's always a new season starts when playoffs start. You scratch that old record, doesn't matter. You throw that out, and you're geared towards the new season, which is the playoffs, which is different.
It is different.
In many ways, you have to kind of kick into third gear. You have to be a clutch team, and you're already beat up. It's cold. You're tired mentally. You're exhausted from practicing for so much. So yeah, it takes a different mentality going into the playoffs. And man, Oakridge doesn't look like they're slowing down right now, which is great. I mean, shout out to Coach Harbaugh, Coach Danchek, Coach Parker,
Coach Randall, all those guys.
Coach Randall.
It's something unique about Michigan high school football that I even had Becky watch the state championship game from 2005, which makes it special is not a lot of high schools and states, they will play their state championship game at a neutral site, like maybe at somebody else's stadium or maybe at like a college stadium or something. What makes high school football so amazing in Michigan is the destination is Ford Field, where the Detroit Lions play. And you have Fox Sport Detroit covering that game, and it's like a pro atmosphere. It's a college atmosphere. It's broadcasted all over the television networks in Michigan, and you have professional announcers. Actually, the guy who announced your state championship game, Kyle, Johnny Wangler, was the quarterback for Michigan who threw the winning touchdown pass to Anthony Carter against Indiana. He announced your state championship game, and his son even played for Michigan. He was a walk-on. It was a random fact for the day, but man, it's really cool. So, anyways, it's a lot of great build-up. Becky watched it with me. She was like, "Man, this is insane. This is unreal the way that this is advertised and stuff." And so it means a lot to us to get to Ford Field to win that. And you know what? I'm getting so juiced up. I'm gonna wear my Oakridge jersey this Friday night. I'm gonna wear my jersey this Friday night, and I'm gonna watch it on Twitter. Let's do it.
Should we do it?
Let's post a picture of us in our Oakridge jerseys. I don't know if it'll fit anymore. I'm kind of heavier now, but I'll still put it on, and we're gonna support the Eagles this week as they play in this district final game.
We've done that before. I mean, you've actually done that before. That's a lot of fun, man. Sit back, watching them. Usually you listen on the radio, but heck, I was able to watch them live with technology these days.
You can just watch right on Twitter. It's amazing.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. I was watching them on, I think it was Facebook, but I didn't even need a Facebook account. So yeah, it was awesome, dude. And then I was getting the tweets coming in from Scott D. Camp, and there's a couple other crazy games. I think we got Muskegon Catholic Central against Montague that's coming up.
Oh, that's going to be a good one.
I think, right? If I'm not
maybe
if I'm not mistaken. So that's going to be pretty good. But yeah. So yeah, I'm excited. High school football doing great, especially it's always exciting when Oakridge is cruising along. So hopefully they got a pretty tough test coming up against Tri-County. So good luck to them.
They do.
Coach Harger, I love Coach Harger, man. A lot of good memories with him. And, great coach, great staff, Coach Parker. He was my head coach in JV.
Yep. Well, good luck to all those folks. And now we're uplifted again. We feel good. We talk about some good things that can happen, whether it's a basketball program or a high school football team. But now we're going to come back to earth, and we're going to go back down to the bottom of the ocean because we are here to talk about Michigan football, whether we're doing great or whether we're doing horrible. And we're gonna continue to do that. So let's talk through some of the interviews and what stuck out to you, because after we lost to Michigan State, Jim Harbaugh's interview doesn't give you any hope. He's telling you, we're almost there. We're about to put it over the top. We're getting super close, and yet we're getting destroyed in these games. And I'm just, again, I hear these interviews with him, and I don't know what to think. So what stuck out to you this week, again, in these round two of interviews with Harbaugh and some of the players after this loss to Indiana?
Well, for one, just to say this, I'm wearing a Marine Corps visor, Semper Fi. do or die.
That's right.
Marine Corps. So happy birthday to all the Marines and happy Veterans Day to everybody. Thank you for your service. But this red is not for Wisconsin or for Indiana. So just wanted to make that clear.
Okay.
But okay, so Harbaugh pretty much he said, and also I want to give credit my credible sources that I get a lot of this information that I have on my notes come from Isaiah Hull. He's my favorite. I just, you know, he just has so much. Shout out to Isaiah Hull. He'll probably never listen to this, but you know, hey,
okay.
Isaiah Hull, thanks a lot. Anthony Broom, thanks a lot. John Jansen, thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot.
Chris Dallas, thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot. Doug Skeen. I have something cool that Doug Skeen said that you'll appreciate as an offensive lineman here in a little bit. Thanks a lot.
Yes. We're going to get into the technicals of down blocking and base blocking and 3-point stances, and we're going to get into that.
Energy, all that good stuff.
Yeah. So anyway, so credits to all of them and many more on Twitter that I have grabbed a lot of this information from, and then also from just me and you.
Yeah.
Just like we would if we're sitting on the couch as good old Michigan fans, buddy. This is what we do.
That's right, man. That's what we do. So tell me about what you heard. What's going on around the neighborhood?
Harbaugh looked defeated, and anybody that watched the interview could see it, man. He just looks defeated. He looks like for the first time. Like I know last week we were talking about he looked like a deer in headlights, but this week he just didn't have much of an excuse anymore, and you could tell he just kept saying over again that that we're almost there, that he sees it. We can get over the hill, get over the top. That it's just minor adjustments now. It's things that we see in practice that we're doing right. It needs to go, needs to translate in the football games. He's pretty much, but he looks like he's inside his shell. He looks like, to me, it looked like he was just defeated this time around. The whole time he's saying that. Isaiah Hull asked him if, pretty much asked him a clear question on if he plans on staying at Michigan or leaving for the NFL because they started rumors or whatever about that. And Harbaugh was like, "Look,
there's that run behind you and that you're talking about, man. Sorry, my ADD's kicking in.
No, that's it, dude.
We were right there. We were right there when we saw that happen.
There we are. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know. We're somewhere. One thing about Harbaugh, you says that he looks like a shell of his old self. When I think of Harbaugh now, I think of the Scooby-Doo movie when Fred and Velma and all them were like overtaken by that, like those spirits or whatever, and they were just kind of a shell of themselves, or like in the Power Ranger movie when the ooze got into the parents and stuff, and they're just kind of like, they're just kind of there. They're not themselves, but they are themselves. That's kind of what Jim Harbaugh is right now. It's like he's just kind of there going through the motions, It's like when you put an air mattress in reverse and it sucks all the air out of it. He's just kind of there. He's not doing much. Like there's no emotion. It's just kind of, I feel bad for him, man. Like I don't know what's going on inside his head or anything, but like
maybe Urban Myers or Ohio State shot him with like a dart gun and it's got him like under some curse or something. I don't know.
Something happened.
I mean, I just put on Twitter on the Michigan Barstool that, I feel, and I told you this earlier, that I feel like I'm in a dream and that I'm in a twilight zone and I keep pinching myself and I can't wake up. That, I watched Michigan keep losing to Ohio State, and now I see it could be game of the week at Michigan versus Rutgers in the Losers Bowl, and it's just all this 2020, the masks, all the COVID. It's just like, wake me up, man. It's been a bad year for Michigan football. But, so back to Harbaugh, though. He just said, look, my actions speak louder than my words. I always like to show people by my action. And Isaiah kind of commented back on that, like, okay, well, you're being judged on your action right now, and it's not looking good. You're just not looking good. So, I mean, I just that was really it with Harbaugh. He didn't really have much else to say with that. Um,
What about some of the players?
Yeah, so the players, Giles Jackson had something really. He had something kind of interesting to say. He said, we practiced really good from Monday to Wednesday, but then we get to Thursday. The last couple Thursdays haven't gone so well. We have a non-padded practice on Thursday. Things are a lot lighter, and it's kind of like walking through the motions. And so we have kind of a light day on Thursday, then we don't practice on Friday at all, or whatever. Maybe they're doing minor things, and then you go into Saturday at the game. And I think some of these slow starts, and that's what Giles Jackson's trying to say, is these slow starts might be because of the way they have their practices set up. Now, obviously, they know a lot more than we do. We're just fans. But, we're sitting here listening to the players and what they're saying. You can put it together and see what's happening. So, I guess he said it's just not as intense right before the game. The practices get lighter and lighter. And it's kind of like me and you said earlier, like Oakridge football, if they had their game on Saturday, we would have everything start out a little bit lighter to recuperate. Mm-hmm. But then by the time we get to the end of the week, you're finalizing, you're crossing your T's, you're dotting your I's, everything's going to be perfect down to the T. You're working hard. You're smacking helmets until that right before that day before that game. And the last day before the game, you're in pads and you're doing your pregame. But to me, it seems like they need to maybe have the lighter at the beginning and work their way a little bit heavier into that till Friday. Friday, you kind of go through the motions and you go through more mental, so it seems like that was something that I kind of picked up from the press and from Giles Jackson. He also said that, we needed to work more on the contested catches, more on separation on the routes. Zordick said that he has seen improvement with the secondary, but we need to continue to work on it. He said, we did put the three deep zone in to alleviate some of the press technique, some of the pressure that's coming on the secondary. Mm-hmm. But it's on me at the end of the day. I got to get these guys ready, and I intend to do that. So Zordick still is positive. He's still trying to say he's saying it's on me. I need to improve as a secondary coach, as a quarterbacks coach, and I need to do better. I think he is in the hot seat. We're talking Don Brown in the hot seat. Well, you already know that the secondary coaches that the secondary got burned, man. They got burned 2 games in a row now. That's on Zordick too. That's a lot on Zordick. So he needs to do better. But back to Harbaugh, he said he plans on staying in Ann Arbor, that he loves Ann Arbor and he hopes to stay. That as long as the AD wants him and the Michigan wants him, then he wants to stay, and he plans to keep pushing through and figuring out what he has to do to win. But it's like Isaiah Hull said too, is he talks about changing the things that are wrong and having to improve, but he's not going into detail of what actually is wrong. He's not explaining what it is that's wrong and letting us know what he's trying to change. It goes back to no direction for the program. There's no direction for the program. There's no stability. Yeah. We don't see it. And that's all you get in these press conferences with Harbaugh. It's like, it's just a rerun of the same thing over and over again, and he doesn't give you much. And look, like we said last week, you got Bill Belichick, you got Nick Saban, you got these guys that are like that. But come on, man, we need more than that, especially if you're in the hot seat.
But the thing is, man, is the Michigan family is different than the Alabama program. The Michigan family is not a professional organization. Like, we need transparency because we have a coach who is probably Michigan's best quarterback ever. I mean, he finished 3rd in the Heisman race, his senior year or whatever. So it's like he's an icon for Michigan football as a player. We love him. Like, we're pulling for the guy. I don't want anybody else to succeed at Michigan more than I do Harbaugh. Like, I want him to be the man. I want him to turn it around because when Michigan wins it, when we beat Ohio State, when we win a Big Ten championship, when we go to the playoff and hopefully win a national championship someday, I want him to be the guy behind the helm. I want him to do it. And I think everybody does. But a part of being in this family is transparency. And we just want to know what needs to be fixed. And we want to hear that from the guy who's leading our family. We want to hear that. It's okay to be open. Open yourself up and say, hey, here's some things that we need to fix. I apologize. I need to do better on this. When you hide behind these things and you're trying to protect. And I understand Harbaugh does a great job of protecting his players. He's not going to call anybody out. He's always going to put it on himself, but he's not being open with us to where we don't know what it is that needs to be fixed. And like you said, I think that's what's hurting the worst is we know there's a problem. Even he knows there's a problem, but we're not getting any information about it. It's like he's hiding the starting quarterback roster from us. You know what I mean? It's like he's hiding these things from us, and it's hurtful.
Well,
it is.
And the thing is that some of that's been okay, and we have taken it as like hey, it's okay because we always looked at Harbaugh as our as our program savior and as the person who's going to come in and get the job done. So we gave him that respect, we gave him that room, that space, that time, that we kind of gave him that gesture of, hey, you don't have to talk to us too much, and we'll just trust that you'll get the job done. But that time is over. We need answers. We needed answers for years, and we haven't gotten them. Yeah. I got what we have next on is Twitter polls and Twitter stats, and I'll go more into what I believe what we're seeing with action when it comes to Harbaugh. But another thing is what a lot of people don't realize, especially a lot of the fans, is that a lot of fans do realize this, but there's a lot that don't. Is this is going to have a huge impact on not so much the 2021 recruitment class, but the 2022 recruitment class. We're secured for 2021 for the most part. Well, I don't know if we lose every game on out, it's going to get tougher. But we got JJ McCarthy. He's committed. Yeah, he's got a lot. He's locked. They're all a really tight class. They're a very tight group. They've all been tweeting and talking and really learning and really building their relationships with themselves for the past couple years. So I think the 2021 class is okay to go, but the 2022 class, we're in trouble. If this continues, it's already in trouble. We've already lost commitments. We're going to continue to see decommitments. We'll always be in the top 15 in recruiting, but we're not laying those big recruits, those big top stars in the key places, and that's the problem. And it's going to continue to get worse as time goes, especially with the way this year is going. I said that the Indiana game was the key game if what way we were going to go this year, and really with recruiting too. But I really do believe now this Wisconsin game is going to be really a big key, because if we lose against Wisconsin, that's really going to start to tumble our recruitment for 2022, I believe, and beyond. And it's going to really put Harbaugh in a weird place with Ward Manuel, and it's going to put it's going to get weird. Recruits are going to start looking at this like, okay, is he getting the extra extension? Is he not? What's going on? Is he going to get fired? Why is Harbaugh not doing? Why is our program? We don't have no identity. We have no stability. We have no direction. We don't know where the program's trying to go. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's not all about wins and losses. That's coming from Isaiah Hull himself. This isn't about wins and losses. This is more about stability of the program. So it's about direction. Where's the recruits? I think it was EJ Holland too. He mentioned that. It's these recruits want to see a direction. They want to have stability. They want to know that things are going to be okay, that Harbaugh is going to be the man, and that he's got this program where it needs to be. And we're not seeing that according to the press conferences. We're seeing a Sheldon Turtle guy who's sitting back, scared, timid. You can tell he's beaten. He's it's making us look bad, and it's getting worse. And the thing is, so many people though want us to fire Harbaugh right now, right on the spot, or they want us to fire him, by the end of the season. And I don't know if that's the right direction to go, because, You fire him right now, and you're going to have half of the recruits, and you're going to have half of the players on the team right now using that one-time free card to go to transfer, the one-time transfer portal rule. And then you're going to have a lot of the players they're going to upsell and leave. And the 2022 class will not be there. You're going to lose 2021 class a lot. Yeah. Then if you hire another guy to come in, or you have an intern coach come in, and we just do horrible, and for the next 10 years, this brings our program to nothing. Yeah. So it's business decisions. The board manual has to sit back. I mean, this is big for him, but it's hard to say. It's hard to figure out what direction we need to go. I mean, instinctively, angrily, reactionary, you want to say fire Harbaugh at the end of the season. But where do we go? Do we let him ride out the rest of his contract so we don't have to pay all of that money? And then after that, you just say, hey, board manual sits back and goes, thank you, but no thank you. We're good.
Yeah. I mean, I think what you said
you take that year to figure out who the next head coach will be, and this way you keep that recruiting going. You keep everything in a smooth transition.
Yeah, and I think what you said is that it really comes down to board manual. I mean, I think as Michigan fans, it's more of, look, we know where we're at as a program. We know we're hurting right now. Firing Harbaugh right now is not going to do any good. Even firing him next year is not going to do any good. If we're fighting for the stability of the program right now, like you said, and so we just have to admit we're not as good as we thought we were, and I think us admitting that and knowing where our expectations are right now, it's going to help us get through this better. And we got to say, look, really, our hope is just in board manual. We hope that he can make the right decisions. We hope that he can bring down some accountability that obviously Jim Harbaugh has not had, because if he had any sort of accountability from the top, then he would either be gone already, or you would see this football team playing in a lot different way. Because anybody with accountability, they're either going to be gone or they're going to be making improvement, and you'll see the results. I mean, that's just the way it is with accountability. It's the results are going to be there, or you're going to be gone. And we can tell that Jim Harbaugh has had zero accountability from the top. And so really our hope is not just in Jim Harbaugh, but more so in Ward Manuel. He's either going to start setting some goals for us to hit, and you're going to see this program continue to make results and continue to do these things or start to do these things, or you're just going to see the same old Michigan, and he's not going to have any accountability, and he's just going to continue to be so-so, and I guess that's just the state of the program. We want Jim Harbaugh to be the guy. We want to rally around him. We want to give the dude a big old hug and tell him it's going to be okay, and tell him just to go out and win his football games. We want to be those fans, but it's hard to do that, I think, because from the top at Ward Manual, there's just zero accountability. And so for our sake, I hope he does bring some accountability down, and I hope we start seeing some results. Because if not, then it's just going to be the same old. He's going to extend Harbaugh. We'll continue to be decent and lose to our rivals, or we're going to see results. And so I really hope that changes soon. But let's get into go ahead.
And we're going to get into the Twitter. But this is why I'm glad I did these polls on Twitter. And I'm giving and everybody gets to see what the fans think, what we reacted to with Harbaugh. It's sad. Yeah. It's subpar. It's a subpar year. Nobody, even the top professionals in analyzing, don't know what to think of it. I don't think Harbaugh even knows. I mean, it's upsetting. A couple of guys, I think, seen it, even up to years ago, but really we're pretty harsh on the offseason and going into this season, like Michigan podcast guy.
Yeah.
So, but me personally, I really tried to stay optimistic and thinking that, because I've had a lot of faith in Harbaugh, and I really thought that he would turn this around so far, and it's just not happening. The results aren't there. Mm-hmm. Statistically, trending wise, it's not there. Mathematically, it's not there. And actions are definitely speaking loud right now. So, we could keep being these people who sit back and go, oh, well, next year's going to be it. His 7th year, it'll all come together. Young players, they'll finally start jiving. Everything's going to come together. But then the 8th year, oh, just give him his 8th year. He's already been here for 7 years. He'll get it.
Yeah.
Come on, Nick Saban, what? 2nd year, 3rd year, start putting it up. So
it's like people who retire in the military. Once they make it to 8 years and they realize how sucky it is, they say, well, I've already made it this far. We might as well go to 10. Well, you know what? We might as well go to 20. We might as well just be so sad for the next 20 years of our life because we know that we'll retire at the end. I feel like that's where we're at with Michigan football. After we get so far, it's just gonna be like, you know what? Why not go another 10 years? We've already been super sad and tired and hurting for the past 10 years. We might as well just continue to do it. I feel like that's where some of the fans are. Me, on the other hand, it's like, look, I want Jim Harbaugh to be the guy. But if you can't get the job done, then some decisions have to be made from Ward Manual. And so let's go ahead and get into the polls that you're talking about on Twitter. Tell me a little bit about that.
All right. So my first Twitter poll was, is Harbaugh's percentage acceptable? 5 years average winning percentage. So this is 5 years. He and I did the math on an average calculator. He comes out to 72%. His 6 years so far with 3 games is 66%. So that's not really good at all.
Yeah.
A lot of those games too are key games, are rival games. They are lost, rival games lost, bowl games lost. Could have been Big Ten championship games. We're 0-2 in Big Ten. Because of Big Ten championships, we lost 2 games that could have brought us to that. 5 years or 6, was it 5 years of losing against Ohio State? I mean, it's the key losses too on top of these percentages. It's just not adding up at all. I mean, it's horrible. Most coaches would have been fired a long time ago for this. I mean, Rich Rod would have been fired.
Yeah, he was.
Freddie Hope would have been fired. Yeah. Exactly. So Michael Spath said on there, he commented, really depends on what you want and what you think Michigan can be. If it's more than 9-4, then if it's more than 9-4, then you move on. If 9-4 and 10-3 is the ceiling and losing to OSU every year is fine, then stay put. So yeah, you do have those fans who think that this is great. This mediocrity, this horrible losing to Ohio State every year is okay with them.
Yeah.
But most fans, most people that grew up in the great era of the 90s and seen Michigan football for who they really are, their potential, and what they actually stand for, say, heck no, this is not what we want. And I said that. I said, I want natties. I want Big Ten championships. I want to be relevant. I want to see us be successful, to go to Big Ten, to go to bowl games and be relevant in those, to beat our rivals that we're supposed to be beating up on, and being relevant with Ohio State, beating Ohio State, at least being consistent with them, and we're just not there. El Jefe, he said he did the best with hoax players and fooling ourselves if he is going to do better. Terrible in bowl games and just as bad versus rivals. BHM, Big House Mouse, personally, 9-4 and getting smacked around is bad or sad. If we go into the season knowing we're going to lose to OSU and guaranteed loss, something has to change. Kyle Larrabee. Harbaugh hasn't been able to recruit at the most needed positions well, and also develop the talent to the game to convert into the game success.
Yep.
And what I mean by that is like major recruiting. I mean, the big top recruits that we need at the positions that we need them at, he hasn't really been able to land them. I mean, you got Dax Hill, you had Jabril Peppers, you had some of these guys, but it should be a lot.
That was Brady Hoax recruits, by the way. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. So yeah. Thanks, Zach.
Yeah.
So to our Twitter poll, our first one, I said, could we make the bowl eligibility this year? I had 17 votes for that. 12% said yes. No was 88%. Rick Riballo said they may not win another game all year. Reality. No, not kidding. He's not kidding. So Now, my next Twitter poll was, what does Michigan do? Not short term, but Michigan's future, long term. Where do we go? What do we need to do? How do we install improved culture, better execution, improved play calling, less penalties, and more discipline? 6 years of roller coaster rides. How do we feel as fans? What do we want? I had 84 votes coming on this. Fire Harbaugh was 21%. Fire entire staff was 38%, which you really put those two together. But I did want to keep them separate just to see what that reaction was. If people actually like the other staff, not just want to see Harbaugh gone. But really, in general, you're going to fire the whole staff when you come in. So fire Harbaugh, 21%. Fire entire staff, 38%. Be patient, wait again for 2021, 11%. Fire Don Brown, 30%. So really, you have 84 votes of people saying fire Harbaugh or the staff. That's the majority. So the comments on that, we have Daily Steaks said recruiting is erratic, lacking in areas. No one at defensive tackle or cornerback, which you said, defensive tackles could not get any push. We want to get on Ohio State's level. We need more leeway on academic exemptions, which we know will never happen. Becky Larrabee, at very least, fire Don Brown. At very least. Jimmy is next. And then she did like an evil purple emoji. I'm not sure what that is.
It's that basically get to work. That girl's not messing around, basically, is what she's saying.
So Michael Spath, he said, been talking about this a long time. Now everybody has seen the real Jim Harbaugh, the real program for what it is. Mr. Michigan Insider, short-term defensive backs, short-term let the defensive back coach go for visual or on those lines. Eventually Don Brown. He's a kind coach. You want to love to play for him, but his schemes have been exposed for a long time.
Yeah.
Robert McAvoy, if you get rid of the head coach, can't hamstring a new coach to keep any staff. Can only keep staff if new coach wants and can't start operating like the Lions. So what he's saying is pretty much you can't keep the head coach, you can't keep the staff, you keep the head coach, vice versa. You got to get rid of everybody. You can't start operating like the Lions. And that's true. The man in the Michigan hat, fire Harbaugh, Don Brown today. Fire them today. Promote Gaddis to interim head coach for the rest of the year.
Gosh.
Sean Newell should be gone at the end of the year. He's talking about wholesale, though. Hey, man in the Michigan hat ain't playing around, is he? Joe Millen era. Only one option, fire entire staff. Any other option is like putting a Band-Aid on JFK's head and telling him to walk it off.
Goodness sakes.
Real quick stats on Harbaugh's career in 2020 in general right now for the team. So far, we're at penalties, 25 total for 255 yards. All opponents we've faced have only had 14 penalties for 154 yards. So that's telling you something about our penalty issue that we're having. That falls directly on discipline and management with the coaches. Practice always translates to games. So 3 Michigan receivers are in the top 10 when it comes to drop rate in the Big Ten. Eric All leads the conference with 4 drops. Ronnie Bell also adds 2. Roman Wilson has 3. Eric All is supposed to be the All-American great tight end that Harbaugh's talking about. He's very young, so he's inexperienced, but man, he's got to get his head around. He's got to keep his eye on the balls, and it's just not happening. Harbaugh is 48 for 20 with Michigan. Looks good on the surface, but is bad when peeled up. And that's true. I mean, it's happening. Harbaugh is 3-3 against MSU program and is getting worse. 0-5 versus OSU. 1-4 in bowl games. 1-4. Last time he won the bowl game, the only time, was against Florida in 2015. After that, we have not won one bowl game.
Florida team. A really bad Florida team.
Yeah. Ward Manuel shouldn't let this pass. I mean, after 0-2 in games that would have brought us to the Big Ten championship, it's kind of like, look, there's something going on here. Get blown out 2 years in a row to Ohio State. Look, the fumble versus MSU in 2015 that I called, that we were both there watching together. 2016 loss to OSU, the 2017 MSU game, the 62-39 versus OSU in 2018, 56-27 game in 2019 against OSU, the 35-14 loss against Wisconsin, and then the last 2 weeks. I mean, come on. Does it get any worse for Harbaugh? Michigan has allowed 862 yards through the air, average of 287 yards per game. Daxton, by far, is the best on the defense with 17 total tackles, pass deflection, and almost had an interception last week. Harbaugh said that he was the best they have on the defense, that he's looking really good. So why wouldn't it be good to fire Harbaugh now, though? Again, it goes back to we could lose half of the team. We could get a bad hire who could set us back for 10, 15 years long term. The recruiting class for 2022 would be out the window. The one-time transfer rule would take effect, and we would really see a wholesale loss. So, yeah, even though everybody wants Harbaugh now, I think we'd have to see it a gradual process of him leaving if it did happen. But it's like you said before, Ward Manuel might extend him and give him a lifetime contract. You know, that's just the way we might see this rolling out too. So, but yeah, so that's with that. You know, I don't know if you have anything else to say with this right now.
Yeah, I mean, again, it doesn't look good. I mean, once you peel the onion back a little bit, on the surface it looks to be decent, but the program's not as good of a state as what people thought it was going to be in when Harbaugh first got hired in December of 2014. And Michigan just, I think the shell looks good. I think the outside of the program, when you look at the brand, you look at everything Harbaugh's done for that, it's been great. But you look at the inside of it, and it's just empty. It's just not good. It's just broken. There's no direction. There's no vision. We don't really know where he wants to go. I hope he figures it out. This week we have a big game against Wisconsin, and I know we're going to spend our next episode kind of recapping Indiana, seeing that debacle again there in Bloomington, and then also kind of looking forward to Wisconsin of what we know of them. They've only played one game, but he's got to figure it out, man, for his sake. Because again, the fans, we know where we stand, we know where we're at, and he's not getting a pass by us anymore. It's over. He figures this out now, or else he will hopefully be gone. And if not, then the fan base is just going to turn into a so-so. Michigan football is what it is, and we're not going to get excited for the games anymore. And so I don't know really what's going to happen. But despite win or lose, despite good or bad, we have things we need to do. And again, I think this is all happening because they will not allow Murder Wolf onto the football field. And so I want to give a shout out to Murder Wolf and say, man, you need to get on the football field, please. The University of Michigan, whatever you have to do, get this guy on the football field, because I think they'll change the course of a lot of things. And so let's go ahead and have a couple moments of silence, Kyle. I think you have a little friend with you today, our old pet Corky, little beanie baby dog. And so why don't we go ahead? Why don't you lift him up to the screen for everybody to see? That was our first dog that we ever had. And he died and when we were little kids, and it was super sad. But Kyle, let's go ahead and have a moment of silence for Corky right now. Moving on to Suds, our Bichon dog, who also passed away a couple years ago, lived to be like 16 or 17 years old. And Kyle's continuing to pet that dog. It's super weird, but hopefully the fans love it. And so let's go ahead and have...
This is actually the beanie baby for Corky.
It is. Mom wrote that, has his name down on it.
Yeah, this is actually Mom. So if she's watching this video right now, I will give it back.
Shout out to Mom, and shout out to Steve, who had surgery on his back.
I got it from her a while back in the storage unit, and I'm going to have to end up giving it back to her. But this is the actual replica of Corky that if you've been following us, we've been giving a mention out to you.
Well, shout out to Corky, shout out to Mom, shout out to Steve, our stepdad, who had surgery on his back. Get well soon, man. And let's go ahead and have a moment of silence for Suds real quick. And then last but not least, Mia, our Miniature Collie, who died of having too much Little Caesars pizza. Thank you, Illich family, for creating Little Caesars pizza for all the poor people in Michigan, including ourselves. You gave our dog a heart attack, and now we only have her in our memories. So here she is, picture of her. Great, beautiful dog. Kyle, let's have a moment of silence for her. That's going to wrap it up. One last thing, 58, 51, and 6 for all you Buckeyes out there. It's going to be 58, 52, and 6 because you're probably going to hang 100 on us this year. But until you catch up with us, you're still all losers. And so until next time, Kyle, and all of our Gulo fans, we appreciate you, and we can't wait to cover or kind of cover a recap of Indiana from last week, and then also kind of a preview of Wisconsin coming this Saturday. So until next time, we will see you here on the Gulo.